Due to some glitches and other issues, Autumn Hill Raceway won't host Race 3 and may never come back to the SERL again. Now we will head to Portland International Raceway, and this track could come back in future SERL seasons. I apologize to everyone who was expecting Autumn Hill and thought there wouldn't be any last second changes in the schedule. Hopefully, this doesn't happen again.
Welcome everyone to the SERL Hot Wheels Cup Series Season 2 Race 3 at Portland International Raceway, where we have a total of 42 drivers ready to take on the layout that is 9 turns, 1.915 miles. So far this road course weekend, with our two races being at Lime Rock and New Jersey Motorsports Park, which are two totally different road courses, but the thing is, they do have similarities that I think we will definitely see in today's race. One is very hard to pass, and Portland is pretty similar to that. But what makes Portland more, uh, when it comes to passing, what makes Portland more of a challenge to pass is that there are some places such as the front straightaway that are a lot more wider than other places. So, for example, on this start, where we will start too wide, heading down into this first corner, the racing surface is going to narrow up a lot, which means that we could see a lot of drivers running off the surface, and also when drivers try to get back onto the racetrack or get shuffled out there, that could cause some trouble for some drivers, and it could happen from inside the top 5 to outside the top 35. Another thing we've also seen is that the outside pole center, who in this case is the 47 of Connor Breeden, who won the Lime Rock Park race, got the lead in the first couple corners and never looked back. We saw it with Connor Breeden in the Truck Series, and we saw it with Aiden Saunders in the American Ethanol Series. So those are just a few things to look out for today. Anyway, so when I think back to last week's race at Atlanta was wild, but it wasn't like the wild caution. It wasn't like wild in a way that's like we had a caution every like 5 laps. Overall, that weekend in general, we had an early caution, then we had a long green flag run, and then we had a caution leading the going. But at the end of the day, Charles Belding, who happened to lead the most laps, got the win, his second career Hot Wheels Cup Series win, I believe, and has now shoveled him all the way inside the top 10 points right here. And one driver that took a big blow in points, who has the other one so far this season, is Daniel Boyles. He went from the points lead to 13th in points, and that just goes to show you how this early in the season you have to really perform very strongly, because if you don't, you're going to fall out of the point standings, and at some point it's not going to be easy to make up a lot of positions. And road courses can be huge game changers. Because, for example, in yesterday's race at New Jersey for the American Ethanol Series, the top 10 in points were separated by, I want to say, maybe like 13 points or 15. By the end of that race, the top 10 points were separated by 30 points. So I think things in the point standings will be drastically different based on yesterday's race. But anyway, now let's get the cars rolling off. Here is the starting lineup. So here's Saviano and Connor Breeden on the front row, and then the rest of the field, or the rest of your top 10, is Matt Hotchkiss, Ariana Parks, Cameron Blake, Isaac Nichols, Kendall Maynor, Daniel Wells, Cliff Crafton, Jacob Reed. That's your top 10. Here is the rest of the field. And way towards the back of here, you're going to find our top 2 in points. Starting in 30th position is the 48 John Mills. He has a 10-point lead over second place in points, who starts in the 32nd position, Blaine Keys. So with them starting that low, and with them being in a pretty, they're in the danger zone, or they're going to start in the danger zone, which means that the opportunity to really gain on these two drivers and maybe take the points lead away is really high. But I think it'll just be interesting to see how things will shake out after 15 laps of here. And I feel like that whether I don't know if I said this in my pre-race or not because I'm recording this part hours after I did my pre-race. Uh, I think we could be in for a much more wilder race here. But another thing I also realized was that during test races was how drivers would sort of pinch them off, but also drivers they would use the curbings to make passes through here. So that's a couple things to take into effect as we get the green flag. So Pierre Saviano and Connor Bryan, they lead us here to the green flag at Portland. It looks like from this vantage point, both drivers got a pretty even start, but Pierre Saviano should have the advantage entering turn number 1. As Connor Bryan actually gets a little bit in the grass area, and Isaac Nichols goes off course a little bit. Anyway, this corner here at Pierre Saviano is here. I think that's turn 3. That should be, that's going to be a tricky spot for those drivers. And right here towards, in the last few corners, we see drivers really using the curbing. But it looks like everyone gets through the first lap. So we stay green. And here we go. Not Connor Green. Pierre Saviano just sails away. And right in second here is Ariana Parks, who started. I don't know if she started in the third position, but she currently has moved up. Right behind Ariana Parks, we have Matt Hotchkiss in the 25. Right behind Matt Hotchkiss is the outside pole center Connor Britton, who was able to win the race at Lionel Park in the Truck Series when he started on the outside pole and took the lead in the first couple corners and never looked back. But so far, but today is not going to be a repeat of what we saw in Lime Rock Park. So far, very clean it looks like. Most of the field seems to be getting in a single wide fashion, which I feel like is appropriate because we're not really going to be seeing too much of that. Oh my goodness, here, Frankie Reed, Johnny Mills in 48, trouble for our points leader. And so the caution will be out. Frankie Reed, Johnny Mills get together. Oh no, for Johnny Mills, that is not the way. That's what you get for starting in the rear. You put yourself in the danger zone. But let's take a look and see what happened to Johnny Mills and Frankie Reed. The reason why I thought this corner, which I believe, like I said, is turn 3, is because right here. It is because of this. When they try to go to 3 wide here, some drivers, they choose the pinch here offer here, and other drivers, they had nowhere to go. So just Frankie Reed here. So him and Johnny Mills here make contact, but Johnny Mills gets the worst over here because the thing is, in the grass, it doesn't slow his car as much down here, and then he just makes pretty significant contact with the side of his car into that tire barrier. Frankie Reed gets out of that almost without a scratch. But for Johnny Mills, it looks like he is going to finish in 42nd spot. Thus, unless he somehow gets lucky, we'll lose the points lead. And we'll most likely also lose a lot of positions. But let's see if we can find some alternative cameras or onboard cameras, or else we'll go back to the green flag. As I saw coming, Johnny Mills is out of the race. Will finish in 42nd spot. So for everyone else, this is a very great opportunity to gain points on him, and possibly, if you're high up in points, maybe take away the points lead. But we'll just find out right here. We still have a lot of racing left to go as we will go back to the green flag on lap 5 of 15. Pierre Saviano still leads his race. Pace car pulls down Peroda here. Pierre Saviano will lead us back to the green flag. And actually, I think when we look at our top 10 on the racetrack, I think the only one of those 10 drivers that is actually inside the top 10 points is Jacob Reed in the 19, and he restarted 9th. But here we go. We're already too wide here at the back. Connor Breen, he was trying to make a move here on Matt Hotchkiss, but instead makes a pass on Kendall Minor. And Ariana Parks here. He is staying up with Pierre Saviano. Can she make a pass? Matt Hotchkiss is also staying right behind Ariana Parks in the 15. Not 15, the 5. Oh, God, why am I so bad at this? Anyway. Let's take a look here at this slip flyby. Whoa, my goodness, here! We got another crash! Cars Sinclair and Bubba Buchanan. Is anyone else involved? Is this gonna bring out the caution? Yep, the caution is out. So once again, we have a caution here. And Pierce Saviano is still our leader. As he once again, even though we weren't able to get through a full lap, he was able to pull a couple of car lengths here, and he's actually still pulling away because the thing is, he was the only driver to actually uh, not take the yellow when it went by, but the thing is, he'll still be our race leader. Now, let's take a look here and see what happened here in the final few corners. I really don't understand what Bubba Buchanan was doing here, because as you can see here, Car Sinclair makes a very fair passer here. He has enough room here, but then all of a sudden, Bubba Buchanan, he comes down into Car Sinclair here, and then as they get to the grass, but then the thing is, they hop on the curbing, which sends their cars airborne, thus and also out of control. Bubba Buchanan takes the impact. Car Sinclair makes some contact with Bubba Buchanan, makes a little bit of contact with the tire barriers, but Car Sinclair should be fine. But for Bubba Buchanan, who came into this race 7 points, this is not how he wanted this. He is going to end his day not the way he wanted to. Let's see if we can find an alternative angle or onboard cameras. Car Sinclair in the 9 took a wild ride. This just in, I did not notice this at all, but what happened was that coming to receive the caution, turns out when Pierce Aviano was the only driver I did not get it really wide at the field right here, because watch what happens right here. Isaac Nickel slows down, then from there on we have Cameron Gollins and Cliff Buchanan, the 30 of Nick Smith, Andrew Gorman, Daniel Voiles are here, and they just keep on stacking up right here, because the thing is, there's not a timer here because they can't see the car in front of the car in front of the car in front of him right here. Dale Scott gets damaged right here, and Saunders gets damaged, LJ Mills gets damaged, Lisa Gonzalez will get damaged, Dean Orton, Blaine Keys are here, but then it gets worse to here when you have right here. The thing is, it officially gets worse when, wait for it, when Abe Troxel here, he makes contact right here and gets the worst. He gets both damage on front of the rear. Austin County William Bedford also go for a spin. So this is going to result in a couple more DNFs. But now let's take you back to the green flag. Abe Troxel and Charles Bunny were two drivers that got a piece of that of a traffic jam entering turn number 1, and so both of those drivers are now out. And Bubba Buchanan is also out of the race right here. But the thing is, I think most notably, what's kind of interesting about Carter Sinclair and Charles Boeing was that Charles Boeing won the race last week at Atlanta, and Carter Sinclair finished second. And then 1 week later, when we head to Portland, both those drivers have gotten involved in some kind of a mess. But anyway, oops, I should show you where everyone else will restart. A bunch of drivers came down pit road. They got involved in that turn 1 traffic jam. But one driver that has kept his nose clean is Pierce Aviano here. As we get back to the green flag, will Ariana Parks or someone else make a move towards the front, or will Pierce or will Peter Saviano just simply drive away with this thing? Don't know why it was so hard to speak. Here comes Ariana Parks. Look into the outside. Well, my goodness, she gets a little bit looser here. Or was it contact from Pierce Saviano? I couldn't tell from that angle. Pierce Aviano here has once again a pretty massive lead. We should keep our eye out here. So we get through this ball up here unscathed. And right there in the back, you can see how many drivers had to come down the road based on the amount of hoods that were taken off. As Cody Hagan moves into 7th spot here, it looks like at the end of the day, out of everyone inside the top 10 points, the biggest winner is going to be where it looks like Isaac Nichols. If he could, if he can stay right there, he is going to be the biggest winner out of everyone inside the top five, not top five, top 10 points into this race. Because the thing is, Isaac Nichols comes into this race third in points, and the thing is, if he can stay right there, he will definitely be our points leader. Anyway, as we now uh, come back to the flagman, still under green. Here's Savion here. He's just driving away, but can Ariane Parks possibly catch him, or does Ariane Parks have Matt Hoshkis to worry about? Kendall Maynor in the 21. This person has had quite the weekend, because the thing is, he wasn't able to be in the truck race at Lime Rock Park because he was 37 in points, and the thing is, the 36 positions, because there are 36 pit stalls, made up the field. But then, all of a sudden, in the American Athlon Series race, he started on the pole and finished third, and we got a caution here. And this caution will not end the race, but it will give us a restart with like 1 or 2 laps to go. Luke Walker has some damage, and it looks like he could be the only one involved, so let's take a look and see what happened to Luke Walker. Similar to what happened to Johnny Mills and Frankie Reed, Justin Talabas and Luke Walker, two drivers that already had some damage, made some contact here. While Justin Thomas was able to save it, Luke Walker took a pretty hard hit into that tire barrier. What speed was he going? He went into the tire barrier at about, that's pretty fast. About 75 miles per hour. As you can see, in just a couple of seconds, it just slows down. It just stops almost instantly. Here, I'll show you a real time. Yeah, I think that's possibly the hardest hit into like a wall or a tire barrier all day long. But anyway, let's take it back to the green flag. Unless we can find something interesting to watch. The amount of DNFs we've had today is nowhere near the amount of DNFs we had at Atlanta in the Hot Wheels Cup Series. But if you compare the amount of DNFs compared to the amount of DNFs in the last 2 days combined for the Donald's Pizza Truck Series race and the American Athlon Series race, it is a lot more. So already the race is almost over, and we've already had a lot more action and devastating incidents than our past two races. But here we go. Ariane Parks here. She's looking to the inside of Pierce Saviano, but I don't know if she's really going to do it. And I predicted it here. Pierce Saviano, he just has the front line here. He's just been dominant all day long, and I don't think he's gonna lose that. Anyway, as I show you the rest of the field, whoa, I guess watch out here. Isaac Nichols Club Captain, that was almost cutting a little too close. But Pierce Saviano, he's just driving away here as he now comes to the white flag. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we see at this point. The caution comes out here, and we do have the caution here. The caution is out, so the race will end under caution. So I believe our first 3 races of the season have all ended under caution here. Austin Kennedy, Lisa Gonzalez, and Kevin Saunders. But that shall be right here. Pierre Saviano will win this race. Well, let's take a look and see what happened to bring out the caution, the final caution of the day. The reason why Lisa Gonzalez was so far back was because she had to make a pit stop just as they were coming to the green flag. But what happened here was that Kevin Saunders here, he all of a sudden had just kind of this like random slip right here, and then Austin Kennedy in the 3 just had nowhere to go here, and then just the opposite here, he sort of finished the deal for both drivers here. Kevin Saunders takes a pretty hard impact right here with the rear right here, and that wall has no safer barrier, so that was an extremely hard impact, or a harder impact than it would be if there was safer barrier. And Austin Kennedy, he gets some slight injury here, but overall, the rough day finally comes to the end for both of these drivers. And note to Charles Belding, next, if we ever come back here again, be sure to raise the drafting distance. But anyway, let's now take you to victory lane and show you the finishing results. I did not notice this as all because I was checking what happened to Kevin Saunders and Austin Candy live. But what happened right here was that Club Crafton and Isaac Nichols, who I believe were battling for the top 10 right here, Club Crafton here, he gets on the curbing right here, and the way he's on the curbing, that it really slows down the car right here, and he loses all its speed right here through that corner, and then Cameron Garlington in the 6 just has nowhere to go. But as you can see, both drivers here, they're not able to steer their car well, and both take a hard impact into the inside wall. So for two drivers that could have finished inside the top 12, their days are over. In fact, let's actually go on board with Cameron Garlington or Club Crafton. For Cameron Garlington, today looked like a day where he could seriously get himself inside the top 10 points, maybe even the top 5. But unfortunately, he gets caught up in someone else's mess. Here are your official standings. Pierce Saviano, Ariana Parks, Matt Hotchkiss, Connor Breenan, Kendall Maynor, Cameron Blake, Isaac Nichols, Cody Hagan, Eric Almerhurt, Nick Smith. That is your top 10. So after this race, for surely, Isaac Nichols will be your points leader. Oh, okay, for a second, I had to actually rethink that right here. And for some reason, Dean Orton, I just noticed that he's strangely marked as retired. So I don't know if his car finally just like broke down as they took the checker flag or what. But oh well, I guess he will still be credited with that 16th place finish. But here is everyone who DNF'd here. It's and and we have quite a bit, and we have a lot of drivers who finished in the rear of the field who came into this race with a lot of momentum in the points. And the thing is, their streak comes to an end. Uh, there we go. There's everyone. I for some reason wasn't paying attention. But anyway, so next week, all 3 series, so we have a triple header, are going to a brand new circuit. That is, I think it's called the Freeway. I know that's like, I think it's called like Freeway. I think it's possibly called like Freeway Motorsports Park, but I don't know like the full name. It's a fantasy track, but the thing is, it's through what I can remember, it's shaped like the course is shaped like an hourglass, but to me, it has extremely high banking, and I think what I expect is that we're going to see a lot of crazy things happen at Freeway in all 3 series. So I hope they stay. So I hope they tune in for that race because it will sure be one that I don't think you will not regret missing. But anyway, I would like to thank everyone for watching this race. So be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and congrats to Peter Saviano on your first career Hot Wheels Cup Series win.